After months of trade speculation, rumored destinations, and back and forth negotiations, Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets have kissed and made up. For now. Nets general manager Sean Marks announced on social media that Durant has agreed to move forward with his quote-unquote partnership with Brooklyn. And that's an interesting word choice given that since Durant and Kyrie Irving signed with the New York Ball Club in the summer of 2019, it's been a very one-sided partnership, with both stars wielding an unchecked amount of power over the franchise's decision-making process. But now, at least temporarily, Marks and the rest of the Nets front office have won that power back. It took the Nets front office 3 seasons, but they finally put their foot down. Through a tumultuous and tension-filled offseason, Brooklyn's management and ownership didn't cave and give in to the demands of their superstars, Irving and Durant. The Nets did not offer Irving the amount of guaranteed money or years that he was looking for after the guard appeared in only 29 games last season. In fact, Irving has missed more games than he's played in a Nets uniform for a number of reasons. Just in the last 2 seasons, he missed time due to his refusal to get vaccinated and had a strange mid-season personal absence in the 2020-2021 season. Essentially, through 3 seasons in Brooklyn, Irving hasn't given the Nets many reasons to believe he's fully invested. And he hasn't been the healthiest player through his 11 years in the NBA either, only playing more than 70 games in 3 seasons of his career. On top of that, Irving's absence this past season was one of the reasons that led James Harden to ultimately request a trade after playing in just 80 regular season games for Brooklyn. Safe to say, Irving has been a headache, and locking him into a lucrative long-term deal was a risk the Nets just weren't willing to take. Brooklyn now has regained leverage over the situation, forcing him to opt into the final year of his contract, a $36 million player option. Irving could bolt next summer if the Nets still don't offer him the contract he's looking for, but this at least gives Brooklyn an out should the upcoming season turn out to be another disappointment with the Durant-Kyrie duo.
Irving got bumped by Smart, and Durant and Irving not on the same page.
See the interaction, trying to figure this out.
Irving has to play well next season and be readily available in order to regain the trust of prospective teams, who didn't seem all that interested in trading for the disgruntled point guard this summer. The Nets will also have the option of trading Irving before the 2023 trade deadline if his play attracts more suitors, or they can roll the dice and hope they can re-sign him in the summer. But either way, power is back in the hands of the Nets. On the Durant front, at least temporarily, Brooklyn's front office has also regained some sense of control. After requesting a trade on June 30th, despite having 4 years and nearly $200 million left on his deal, Durant began to try and force the Nets' hand, giving them a list of preferred destinations he'd like to go to. Durant even went as far as giving Brooklyn an ultimatum, picking between either him or Marks and head coach Steve Nash. Nets owner Joe Tsai backed his front office and coaching staff in a tweet stating that he'd do what's best for the franchise. But that wouldn't be the first time Durant has tried to impact Brooklyn's decision-making process. Upon signing with the ball club in 2019, he reportedly forced them to sign a then 31-year-old DeAndre Jordan, one of Durant's best friends whose best playing days were well behind him, to a 4-year, $40 million deal after the club initially offered Jordan a 2-year contract. Later that season, Durant and Irving were reportedly among the group of Nets players that got former head coach Kenny Atkinson fired. Durant and Irving also played a part in the hiring of Nash and the trade that landed Brooklyn the former MVP Harden. Funny enough, Harden also became frustrated with Durant and his quote-unquote self-righteousness. So this time around, the Nets didn't budge. And while they did oblige Durant in seeking out a trade, they were firm on their asking price of an all-star player plus multiple prospects and picks, which made it hard for any respective team to match that price while also having enough remaining to compete with the former MVP.
1 possession game. Durant against the youngster. Durant drives. Durant, it's good! Left hand, KD!
And with no one willing to go all in for Durant, a 34-year-old who has only played in 87 games through his 3 seasons in Brooklyn, Durant reconciled things with the Nets front office and agreed to, quote, move forward with their partnership. Obviously, Durant can still request a trade later on, but with him returning to play in a Nets uniform, it could help increase his value in the eyes of other teams, who could, in turn, be willing to match the Nets' high asking price. Look, there's no question that the NBA is still a player-driven league, and that it is ultimately the players, especially the superstars, who have more of a say when it comes to the inner workings of any given team. But regardless of how short-lived this partnership may end up being, this gives the Nets front office enough breathing room to recover from the mess their two superstars have made, and prepare for the inevitable life without them, all while still being competitive enough to field a championship contender around the duo for at least next season. Now, a lot of things would have to go right for that to happen. Being healthy, committing to playing under Nash, and most importantly, being willing to put water under the bridge after a less than smooth offseason. But there's no question that the potential is there. And with power and leverage back in the hands of Marks and crew for the time being, maybe Durant and Irving can focus on what they do best: hooping. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button.